So we're just gonna talk a little bit about how to choose the right paddle length for you. There's a few different guides on the internet. You can Google it. There's many different ways. I'll walk you through the different ways, not because there is a specific way that's the best, but because by knowing the thinking behind the different ways will allow you to feel comfortable in your choice for paddle length. This is the Gray Owl Hammerhead with a nice mushroom T-grip and Denel reinforced shaft, reinforced paddle. Super nice tripping paddle that's also good for whitewater. A little bit more burly, good for whitewater. Whitewater specific, we have the carbon stuff I'll show in a minute, but this one's a good example for me to show the length. So this is a 56. My whitewater, I'm 6'1", so whether you're tall or short, it doesn't really matter. It's torso length. I have a relatively short torso for my height and long legs. So when you're paddling, you're leaning on the seat or on the bulkhead, depending on the type of canoe you have, but most people leaning on the seat. So that means it's from your seat height to your shoulders is where it varies, and also how long your arms are. So one tip that is more relevant to arm length is you put your paddle on top of your head, and if you have a nice 90-degree angle, it's probably pretty close to the right paddle length for you. So that's one way, and that's more how mobile you are with your arms and shoulder length, shoulder width for the paddle. So this one might feel maybe a tiny bit short for me when I do that. Maybe it's probably just about perfect. So the first one was more about arm length, shoulder width. Now we're talking about torso length. So I'm gonna go, we have a lot of boats here. I put the paddle between my legs, okay, and I put my hand right on the grip, and my hand is right on my forehead, okay? That's a good tip for measuring. So Gray Owl on their website, I think that's the main tip that they recommend. Okay, so now we're on the ground, a little bit more space, missing some room in the spot shop, too many canoes. But now we're comfortable. We can check our position, check the seat height. Okay, I'm gonna put some knee pads in my boat eventually, in Derik's boat. So, all right, how do I feel? Not bad. I feel maybe a tiny bit low. I'm gonna cut 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. So that'll have an impact on my paddle length. Why? Because my bum's gonna be a little bit higher off the ground. And if I'm perfect position, meaning I want my paddle to be as perpendicular as possible to the boat. So when I go like this, it pushes the boat forward. So your power zone is the first, I'd say 18 inches from your hip forward, hip bone forward. So let's say I put my power zone right here. Okay, I'm reaching. Obviously this is too high because the water line would be about here. That's why it's good to do this on the edge of a table or a little bit off the ground, because you can really think, okay, my blade is going to be perfectly in the water when my arm is reaching over the boat. So my paddle is not at an angle. And then in this 18 inches, my blade is perfectly in the water level. So this is a really complex way to understand the paddle length, because I want the best length, optimal length for my height for the power zone. Not to push the canoe up or to pull the canoe down, but really to drive the boat and drive power by turning your hips in this zone. Okay, so that's how you get a sense of why these tricks work. The trick like this, because then that's basically how much you can reach over with how long your arms are, and the trick like this, because it tells you how high you are off most seats, and most seats are similar height towards the water. But as you get paddling, my whitewater paddle, this is a 56, it's not my paddle. My paddle is this one here, the Esquif carbon fiber paddle. This one's uncut. It's not my my personal unit, but I have a few of these, and I use a 56.5. That was my first one for bigger boats, and then I went into a smaller boat, so I went to a 56. So even 1/2 inch makes a difference. I use also a 58 when I'm tripping. I like the 58, especially if I'm in the back. I feel like I have lots of control. I'm sitting a little bit higher in a tandem boat compared to a solo boat, so my tripping paddle is a little bit longer. But I tend to gravitate towards these carbon fiber paddle that are uncut. So if you're unsure, you cut them a little bit longer, and you put hot glue to glue the wooden grip right in here. Hot glue is fine, because hot glue, if you warm it up with hot water, you can pop it out and then cut it a little bit more, no problem. So that's a good compromise way of landing on your best perfect paddle length. The other option that's available from a skiff is the fiberglass. If I'd have to compare these to the market, this one would be similar to the Bandit, 8-inch wide. It's actually a little bit bigger than the Bandit, and this one is the Bandit Carbon. But both made by a skiff. Really nice. The shaft feels a little bit lighter than the Bandit. It's rounder. The Bandit's got a little bit of a oval shape, and also the Bandit comes with a sort of epoxy grip. This one, we sell them all with wooden T-grips. They don't come factory with wooden T-grips. They come with a plastic grip. That's fine. I personally really love the wooden T-grip, and all my friends, all the canoe club people, they all end up in wooden T-grips. It's like, it's the last out of all the technical gear that you have to touch wood once in a while. It feels really nice. So the wooden T-grips is a super nice touch as you progress in your canoeing journey, especially in whitewater. These are more whitewater specific products because they're very big, very stiff, a little bit uncomfortable in the long paddles where wood might be better. So long way to say how to choose your paddle length. But at least now you know you're trying to optimize for the power zone, you're trying to optimize for your paddle stroke, and hope it works for you.